Niggas do the most when they ain't got shit. I was chillin', laid back in the crib, thinking back had all make sense. Kudos to the folks that stay out the way. All gold on the spose, see the gold from his lips. He was raised that way. Papa sister shit bumpin', I was born to race. Wrist whippin', nothing different, just a suit and a flip. Sin City, he was selling shit, it is what it is. Call bodies at the party, hey, fell in the grave. Rest up, eyes up while I skate. Kid push, like I'm moving with fate. Fuck a pig, know they ass got something to say. They can't pay, bro, bad in my face. Like this, shine at the red on pitch. I ain't got the time, gotta flip. Niggas pay for everything, yeah, but the crib, nigga, where your ass at? Nigga, chill, on the ground still. Sage like, not like, yeah. Let the word speak, that's play. Fist up, gold teeth, you don't know me blinded. Breathe from the mud on, oh a nigga nothing. From the sky, my nigga fall, you can't tell me nothing. Ball at. I was in the field, you was sending cars out. All up in my head, what's on you don't know about. I was in the crib, red, only give me gas. Niggas all talk to the gas laid down. I ain't got a ball, why he bought the dog, yeah.
Peso, Seafood, we in our motherfucking bag. GKFA, Conquest Cerebellum. Let me tell you how I stepped out. I was stepping out fresh like, she had straight A's like Oakland, but this shit'll make her go dumb. Hey, I can't call it, you can call it what you want, but you can't call it broke, gotta fix then come. Hey, make these niggas bleed, they feel the glory in reverse, like a quest sample. I can't tell my story from a hearse, so I'm on they head. Running like Breezy said, running like you owe me, yeah. Run me my motherfucking bread, bitch, I gotta run it up. I can't be no runner up. If I gotta get it out the dirty like a Tonka truck. If I gotta run over you niggas like a monster truck. If I got a question, if you want it, you can't run with us. You know what's a problem, had to disable my comments. Last flex, way too viral, yeah. Almost made them vomit in the booth, I ain't gon' lie. I feel like Elijah Muhammad. See you, lie to your people, nigga, I lie to your honor, yeah. Why they always flogging, yeah? Why they always fake? They be trying to camouflage as they nigga bathing naked. I just bought the transformer, I can't feel my face. Still gon' have your bail money if I sit out on the place. Shitting on them, ain't on mama, I need potty train. They visibly pissed, see it in they body language. Baby, I'm a dog. Take me to the Petco. Cash out. After that, we make the Chanel store. Tap out. I was at the studio. I was at the Red House. Y'all niggas was rapping about some shit that we don't care about. Y'all niggas gon' be on y'all informant shit. Air it out. My niggas gon' be on that Chris Dorner shit. Air it out. What?
The fuck do you want? Hateful ass niggas. GK family, get your fucked up. We don't tolerate hatred. Just some kids on the playground screaming fuck the world.
This your boy Grizz.
And I'm your main man, Greenback.
And this is the GRIZZBIZMY2SENSE Show. Powered by... What's up, lady?
What's up?
Oh, my goodness. We do not have schmuck number 1 here today. He'll handle his business, so we hope he handled his business, and I'm sure he'll be back next week with a whole bunch of story to tell. But I'm pretty sure he was scared of the real deal, what we was going to do to him and his Smuck Awards and all the support that he wanted to give these clowns. I mean, it was really a dramatic week for real. From Wednesday when we was doing the show, the stuff was happening, the Capitol stuff was happening, till now this Wednesday. We went from rioting and people getting killed.
You call that rioting?
No, not
terrorism.
Really. Terrorism, you're right. You're right. You correct me, it's terrorism. Terrorism, that's what it was. And all of that good stuff, all the white privilege that went along with that, let's get that together. You know, till impeachment, to impeach. We're going to talk about that later on. We're going to get to the meaty of the situation. You know, we're going to continue with the series that we put together, giving props to the folks here in Cincinnati that's made their mark, you know, in touch bases with a lot of different people. And even though they might not be on the norm TV, the big screen like this, that, and the third, but I bet you know they know somebody that knows somebody.
Right.
And these
Absolutely.
people, yeah. So, you know, they didn't lay the foundation for a lot of folks. And this guy right here is one of those people. You know, he did the old school 100.3, the oldies. I'm pretty sure your commute home or your commute to the job or home was very entertaining by this man here, man. I mean, he's gonna put it down, and like I said, opened some doors for
Absolutely.
other folks like Lincoln Ware. It's a lot. Cincinnati has a lot of history, and I want to give these folks their props and their flowers while they're here, so they have some etched
Thank you.
in their arsenal. That's why we ask everybody to share and do what they do, so they can say to their kids like, "Yo, here, check out this interview if you want to know about Pops. If you don't want to know what your grandfather or your uncle, cousin did, this is what they did."
This popular music came from real music.
Real music.
Real
And this one of the guys that's back there with this old music.
Yeah.
So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen of the world, because we are YouTube Live, and we're not just in Cincinnati, we are live across the world. So, you dig what I'm saying? We want to give a loud round welcome of applause to Mr. Freddie Red.
Mr. Freddie.
That's what's up. How you doing?
Wait, where my music? I was waiting on some music to bring me in.
Music. We got to find some music. You know, it's copyright infringement with music now.
Hold on.
Okay, well.
Okay.
All right then. All right.
I had to throw that on, man. That's like my favorite jam right
your
there.
theme
Whole
music?
lot of choppers in the house.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. So,
What's going on, Grizz, Miss Ivory? How y'all doing?
Same old, man. Trying to maintain and get these residual money and do this broadcasting stuff the new way. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing it well.
Thank you. And the podcast, you know, that's a big arena right now. So
Huge arena.
And what's so loud about it, like I was telling her, I was watching a Country Wayne, man, and the producer telling them that the whole thing is about content and being consistent. And
Right.
it takes a minute, especially if you're doing it organically and not with the bots and all this and that and the third. You just keep plugging away at it. I mean, it's taking some people a long time to get where they needed to go, but once they do, it's popping.
Yep.
So that's
Keep
what's
it
up.
fresh, keep it real, and it's gonna work.
We owe a lot of this pavement of the way to you and some of your counterparts. So we thank you. And as Grizz said, want to give you your flowers now. Because you have definitely opened a lot of doors for Cincinnati, to say the least, and others like us to come after us. And so it's so refreshing to see one of the originators of Cincinnati's broadcast that has gone on for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I appreciate the chance to smell those flowers. Like you say, what a great concept. Give somebody their flowers while they're still here to smell them.
Right.
And I'm so humbled by your kind words and your compliments. I'm one of many who set the scene here in Cincinnati.
Right.
You mentioned Lincoln Ware. I tell this story all the time, just to give you a little tidbit. My first taste of radio, I still live right now in the home I grew up in. The old WCIN studios were just over the way here. And we used to ride our bikes, me and a couple of guys from the neighborhood, around to the back window where the studio was at WCIN, because Lincoln Ware would hand out 45s. Y'all know
Yes.
what 45. I'm not talking about guns. I know
No,
you
we
young
talking
folks
about
nowadays.
We talking about, we got them.
Oh, okay. I don't want to scare nobody mentioning 45s. But yeah, 45s, they would hand them out, and Lincoln would hand them out of the back window. We would ride our bikes up down the hill, down there to the back window, and get records and come home and play them. And that was when looking through that back window, and I saw all that equipment that Lincoln Ware had inside the studio. And that was like the beginning of my love for radio right there.
You were inspired to say the least.
Yeah, so I want to give him, I want to give Lincoln Ware his flowers
Right.
now, and then let him know that he was a huge part of Freddie Red and eventually what I became, man. And man, radio, what an exciting thing. You guys are into an exciting thing. This whole thing with the podcast, everybody can be a star now. What a great thing. What a great thing.
Right. And like I said, like I was going to say, what was your first radio job? What did you do?
My first radio job was down in Macon, Georgia. Actually, I was fresh out of the military, and what had happened was my first wife, lovely woman, she the mother of my first child, my oldest child. She came home. I had gotten out of the military, Grizz, and I was sitting around the house drinking beer with my buddies, doing nothing. I wasn't working. You know, she had a good job. We were on base housing. You know, who needs a job? And she came home and embarrassed me in front of my boys. I mean, all my partners left out. You know, she was like, "You need to get a job. You need to do something." And I was like, man. She left out the house. There I was all alone. And I thought to myself, well, damn, I need to get a job. What can I do? I had just got out of communications in the Air Force. And all I did was sit around watching TV all day. So I thought, man, I'll get a job at a TV station. And I did. I started working with WMGT television, NBC affiliate down in Macon, Georgia, as an assistant engineer. Well, I got to be friends with the production manager. I started doing TV commercials actually first. Because I was doing TV commercials, my friends said, man, you sound like you got a radio voice. You ought to be on radio. So I decided, you know, I'm going to give the radio thing a try. I'll call the radio station. I had made up my mind to call the radio station, and I don't want to make this story too long, but I went to this 7-Eleven on a Sunday night. I'll never forget it. I walk into the 7-Eleven. I get a 6-pack of beer and some barbecue pork rinds or something. And the girl behind the register, she kept smiling at me and you know, just giving me the eyes, and I'm kind of getting weirded out, like, what's going on here? Finally, she gets upset and she says, so you're just not going to say anything to me, huh? And I look around, I'm the only one in the store, and I'm like, what do you mean? I don't know you. Oh, really? You don't? Come to find out, Grizz and Ivory, this woman had been having phone sex, I guess, with one of the local DJs on the radio station. She thought that I was this DJ. He had told her he was going to come see her, and she thought that I thought she was ugly, and she was. But
Talk about a good
she
story.
thought that I wasn't going to admit to being this DJ because she was ugly, and she got mad. She took the 6-pack of beer away from me,
Oh, no.
and I went home stunned. I'm like, I started thinking about it. I was like, man, what a compliment. You know, my voice, she thought that I sounded like this DJ that I used to listen to. I literally called the radio station up because that inspired me. I said, you know what? I'm going to call and see if I can get a job. I literally called the radio station up, made it up in my mind. I said, man, I'm going to sound so damn good on the phone. He's going to hire me over the telephone. And, you know, it goes to the power of positive thinking and speaking things into being.
Yep.
Because that's literally what happened. The guy
Wow.
hired me over the phone, told me to come in for an interview, and that's a whole nother crazy story. My interview, I don't know if we got time for that.
We got all the time.
But that was at WPGA Magic 101 in Macon, Georgia, Perry, Georgia, it was a Fort Valley State, I think was a college
Shout
down
out
there.
to them. Shout out to
I remember
them.
one of the baddest DJs was the Cat Man, the master of mixing and scratching. I used to do his commercials for him. He got me into actually, you know, starting to mix and club DJ. And I had a great time down there in Georgia. That was my first radio gig.
That's what's up.
Damn, I
That's
took
a
a
good
long
story.
time to answer that question.
No, that's all right because you got stories and people need to hear that.
That's a good
I got a million stories, man.
Hey, that's what we're here for, to tell these stories. That's exactly what we're here for, to tell these stories. So, did you actually get into spinning and scratching and all of that good stuff? Because I caught myself doing the same thing, and I got to respect the DJs and what they do.
Yeah.
Let me be honest with you. You know, the limits of my scratching, you know, I may scratch a record in, but back then, I mean, I'm a product of the '90s. That's when I really got into the scene, and scratching was not the thing back then as much as a good blend in music, so that's what I did well. I was a good blender. I could mix real well and blend, but all that transforming and scratching like DJ Diamond
Yeah.
does, and DJ Vader, of course. But Diamond, I got to get as far as Cincinnati. Nobody transforms quite like Diamond, and
Right, man.
DJ Easy. That's another DJ I
Yeah, he
like.
does. Yeah, he gets down too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the thing
yeah.
about Cincinnati. We do got a lot of hot DJs, and let's give a round of applause to the DJs. Can we get a round of applause to the DJs in Cincinnati? Thank you.
Cincinnati.
They do a good job.
And let me do something. And this may sound like a pat on the back, and it is. Hold on.
Okay.
But when I was working as assistant program director there at Old School 100.3, I did the first, and I think it was a Labor Day weekend a few years back. I did the first all Cincinnati DJ holiday weekend. It was either Labor Day or Memorial Day, I don't remember. But all DJs from Cincinnati. Nobody's ever done it since then, and I don't think anybody had done it before then. And I did that. Why? Because this town is booming with talent, DJ talent, musical talent, artistic talent. Cincinnati. I've been all over the world, and I'm telling y'all, quit talking shit about Cincinnati. I get mad when I see people talking about Cincinnati, and this is one of the best places to live in the fucking world.
Hey, I feel the same way at times. I mean, I done told folks, when you get where you're going, you ain't going to be driving no Bentley down Reading Road, all the potholes. I said, yes, I will, because I'll get it equipped with the right equipment to take them potholes.
Listen, minus the weather, Cincinnati is great. I will definitely say that. The only downside for me is this cold. So.
Put a mic to you.
I was saying the only downside to me is the cold.
Where are you from?
I'm from here. Amazingly, I am from here, but I am a water baby. I'm an Aries, as we discussed. So I enjoy sandy beaches and water.
And I do too. Born and raised here, but I've lost my resilience to the cold.
Yeah.
I'll never forget one of my fondest memories back when I was like a senior in high school. And I remember standing at the bus stop waiting on the 78 down on Vine Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was so cold. Me and my friend Alan, we were smoking a joint, a top joint. And it was so cold that we smoked the joint all the way down until it just burned completely away on our fingers, because our fingers was damn near numb.
I can relate.
Yeah.
In my younger days with the paper joints,
Right.
Dig that. So after Macon, Georgia, is it Macon?
Yes, Macon.
Yes,
Macon.
WPGA.
So that's a great city.
You made your way back home?
From there, we went. My wife at the time, my first wife, got stationed overseas, and she volunteered for overseas assignment and got stationed to Athens, Greece.
Oh, beautiful.
And so, I had just started my radio career, and I was like, wow, do I stay here or do I follow my wife to Athens, Greece? I thought about that for like 5 seconds. I loved my wife and my family, my daughter, plus Athens, Greece. Are you kidding me? Like, I may never get this chance again.
Right, exactly. I hope you took yourself over there.
So I actually put the radio career on hold, sorta, because what happened, I got over to Athens, Greece, and I got in touch with the military radio station. I said, I'm gonna stay in radio some kind of way. If I got to sweep up around the station and splice commercials together, whatever, some kind of way I'm gonna stay in. Well, come to find out, they had an opening for the religious program that aired every Sunday. And I said, well, I grew up Zion Baptist Church, Reverend Booth. I can do a religious show. I'm not too much of a sinner, but maybe this will help me out. Maybe this will put me in the right direction. So I did this show. It was called Love Alive. And I'll never forget it because I made a drop using Al Green, love and happiness. And I kind of structured this religious show like a top 40 type show. And I had it banging. I'm playing Amy Grant, all kind of stuff. But because of that, one of the richest men in Greece, I guess a lot of the Greeks used to listen to the base radio station because of the music, and because they just liked practicing their English by listening to the American DJs. Well, apparently this guy was listening to me, and something I said let him know that I wasn't a military member. He contacted the base radio station manager, Norm Corley, and asked him if I was available to work, since I wasn't military. Norm passed the message along to me. I got in touch with this guy, had a meeting with him. They were opening up a new radio station playing top 40 American music called Sky FM. The radio station, let's see, it was Sky FM, and what was the other one? It was two radio stations. My memory, I've destroyed too many brain cells since then. But I started working with this Greek radio station. I was doing a top 40 show along with my friend Norm Corley. Eventually, I got my own show. They had a Greek guy, Easy Kutiel, who used to sit with me, and I would tell him what I wanted to say in English. He would tell me in Greek. I would write it down phonetically so that I could do Greek, because I basically did bilingual. I did Greek and English. I wasn't learning Greek. I took a Greek class. I learned how to write and read Greek. And then I started learning more Greek, and I was able to speak Greek better. And είμαι στην Ελλάδα πριν 12 χρόνια, έχω δουλειά με τον Sky, έχω το κόμμα 4 στο πρώτο σταθμό στην όλα Αθήνα. That's me trying to show you I can still speak Greek, but I don't know how well I did.
What did you say?
They sound great to me.
I said I used to have a job 30 years ago on Sky 100.4 in Greece.
Okay.
Oh.
That's what's up. Let's get a round of applause for that. That was amazing to me. This guy, you never cease to amaze me, man. Before you get any further, though, I did put out there, and if we got some callers to call in, 1-788-2534, I did put on there that I would cash app somebody some money for two things. One was, what was you thinking when you had the braids, the picture with the braids? What was you thinking then? And how many hairstyles have you had? I was going through the pictures for preparation, and I said, well, damn.
I thought you were posting different people at one point.
You was. It was different personalities. It was all his radio personalities.
The hair thing, like I say, I don't know. Until a year ago, I've had pretty much a short military-style haircut. When I got in the military and started getting that Air Force Regulation 3510 cut, I've kept a short haircut all my life.
Wow.
When COVID hit a year ago, and I stopped being able to get my hair cut, my first idea was that I was going to grow my hair and donate it to Locks of Love.
Oh, okay.
I found out that Locks of Love does not take gray hair.
Wow.
And so I said, okay, maybe I'll find somewhere else. But in the meantime, I'll just grow the hair because I'm kind of liking it. Right. And in the whole process, all those different hairstyles you see on my page, that was, from the process of going from a shortcut to where it is now, I was able to diversify.
Yeah, it was a nice transition. You put that up, transition, and I'm really jealous because I don't have no hair no more. And I remember when my hair was that long, me and my daughter used to go get her hair braided around the west side, wash, condition, and all that. And I sat there like, ain't that something? I missed that on the jeans somewhere. But that's a good thing.
The braids were just for ease of care. I mean, when you got hair this long, ladies, I am not jealous of you because it's a pain in the ass. It's hard to wash. It's just hard to take care of when it's this long. But putting it in the braids, I found, was the easiest thing to do.
That's what's up. So, I want to know, with all the celebrities that you've interviewed, how many do you actually keep in touch with? Did you keep in touch with any of them? Who was the worst one to work with? And who was the best one to work with? As far as
great question. As far as do I still keep in touch with them? No, I don't. Gosh, so many. The best and the worst. I'm going to, the best, because he actually came to my house and ate dinner, is John Witherspoon.
Okay, dig that.
Pops.
How was that?
This was years ago on the Wiz. He was here for a comedy show with down at Ray Combs Comedy Connection.
Right.
That's going way back. It was down underneath the Carew Tower in the basement. And every Thursday on the Wiz, this was back when I was a morning man with Chris Taylor, the Professor Taylor.
Right.
Best radio show I've ever done in my life anywhere was with that man right there. But we used to host the comedians every Thursday. And Thursday night was Wiz night. And usually the comedians were there through the weekend. But John Witherspoon came in, and I had him, I asked him, he said, every city he went to, that, the jocks always wanted to basically take him out like arm candy and show him around the town and take him to all the clubs. And I told him, I said, we can do that here too. Or you can come to my house and have a home cooked meal. And he stopped and looked at me. He said, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Hell yeah, I'll call my wife right now and have her get started on it." And he said that's what he wanted to do. He said he had been so busy, and every city he went to, like he was going out to party and drinking. And he said if he could sit and eat a home cooked meal, I got dogs. Shut up! If he could eat a home cooked meal, it'd be the best thing in the world. And he, and I forget the name of the other comedian that was with him, both of them, came back to my house, ate, and we just kicked it. And it was pretty cool.
What'd y'all eat?
But what was that?
What did y'all eat? What'd your wife fix?
I'm pretty sure she didn't have a huge repertoire. It was probably fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and gravy, and string beans.
Okay.
Oh, well, good home cooked meal.
Yeah.
That counts.
Did y'all sip on the couch?
Yeah. He kicked his shoes off. And he is, his personality was not fabricated. What you got from John Witherspoon on the screen
It was the same John Witherspoon.
That was pretty much the way he was. Yeah. He was just.
I've heard that.
What happened? Can't hear you.
He's a good dude.
To my favorite comedian would be, oh my gosh, my brain, I just drew a blank. But he was another comedian that came down there. I'll get back to that. But the worst, trying to think who the worst, if I had any in my career that, well, yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah. Gary Owen.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Where's the schmuck button? Where's the schmuck? Can somebody get a hold of this schmuck? Wow.
What kind of a schmuck was the Gary Owens?
The worst.
Oh,
The
wow.
worst.
Of all the celebrities I've ever met. And
No A-list.
just had
celebrity.
to me, had a real grandiose attitude. Didn't have time to come in and do an interview with me over at Old School. He had come in, they were doing the, I think the Funny Bone or something, and did an interview with the Wiz, and I don't know, just kind of gave me the attitude like he didn't even think, Old School was really important for what he was trying to do. But on top of that, I just don't think the man is funny. I don't like his comedy.
You
at
know
all.
what? That is funny that you said that. I'm not a hater. I'm a keep it 100 real kind of guy.
No,
Tell it like
I'm-
it is for the most part. And me and him lightweight got into it. I get into it with people that ain't real. And I mean,
Hello.
not hating on get your money how you get your money. I ain't hating on that, but the comedy kind of rubbed me the wrong way too, for real. But no hating. Go get your money. It's just not for me.
And
And
his
I-
persona, it works for him that he presents on stage and for the most part doing interviews. But yeah, he's a different person one-on-one and on stage. I just don't find him to be funny. I find his humor to be real condescending. I think the whole thing with him getting his wife to call Blackston the N-word.
Right.
I think that's who he had. And some other things that he's done since then that I find him just taking too many liberties. People want to say, "Oh no, Gary's cool. He a cool white boy," and then be funny as a white boy.
Yeah.
Just be funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Stay away from all that blackness and trying to sound black and just be you. I like real works. It's worked for me all my career.
That's what's up. I feel the exact same way. The exact same way. So, after you after you finished your illustrious career, what made you stop? I mean, why didn't you go somewhere else? Because you still got the voice. You still got you as you.
And I still do. I still do commercials. I still am a voice for hire. As a matter of fact, I tried. I sent out as many hooks as I could during election time. Trying to get Alicia Reeves and Charlie Winburn and all them that, hey, y'all, I'm still around. You need a good voice for your commercials. But none of them ever called me. However, I will say I just recently got a call from Kelly Prather.
Okay.
So hopefully maybe I'll do something that can contribute to her campaign, my voice. Yeah, as far as radio itself, I'm going to tell you, I had a pretty bad experience in my final radio days over there at Radio 1. It kind of left a bad taste in my mouth for radio. Also, I got to the point where I realized that what you're doing now, the podcasting, this is the new age of radio. I briefly tried an online radio station myself a few years back. That's a lot of damn work.
Yes.
And who knows, maybe I'll bring it back one day, or maybe I'll get you to help me out with a podcast, Grizz. How's that sound?
That's all right with me. Like going back to what you said about radio. Now Bruno, DJ Bruno, that's my partner. Calls himself the man with two brains. We did the radio station, Uptown Radio 513. That's where I started doing the podcast with him. And he was doing the online radio station, and it got to be hectic. And that's the only reason why he quit doing it or stopped. I didn't say quit because he's still in him, but it just got to be like a one-man show. Yeah. Even though I was trying to help and do whatever, but he was trying to do the camera work, do the editing, do this, keep the radios spinning, get commercials, doing that, along with raising the family and you know what I'm saying? And it's in your house. So most of the time, you got strangers coming into your crib every week. So I understood that what he was going through. Like, he had to take care of some stuff and get some stuff in order and put that on the back burner because it is a very, very tedious thing. And even
it's crazy work. It's a lot of work. And there's a reason why radio stations have program directors, music directors, traffic directors. There's a reason that there's all these different positions inside of commercial radio stations because they need that many people to run it. And anybody who's tried to do a radio station online and make money off of it, which means you're doing it correctly, there's a lot to do. And so fast forward to now, these cats that I hooked up with Unanimous media company, they've done work for major folks around the city, and they just kind of picked up where we left off and taking us to another level as far as how algorithms and how all this stuff work and just a whole lot of stuff, monetary, how to make it monetary, and it's a process. Don't happen overnight. You got to do this. You got to do that. You still got to do work. You got to do it. But like I was saying earlier, I was watching the Country Wayne. It's about content and consistency and doing what you're doing. It might pop off overnight, or it might take a minute. But as long as you stay consistent and build, you'll get there. And the lane is so big that everybody can eat. It is.
It's not no reason for me to be in competition or feel like I'm in competition with Nella D or Cincy Clutch Radio or Nathan Ivy, or I don't feel like I'm in competition with none of them because everybody has their lane. And I will promote and share your stuff and chime in on your platform. To voice my opinion and want you to do the same because that's how we eat and share. But a lot of people here in Cincinnati is on some other stuff.
and it's not just Cincinnati. Trust me when I tell you it's everywhere. Yeah. And but I feel you. I feel you. Especially within the entertainment industry, and I've been in it for over 30 years, and I've seen it. There's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of backbiting and crabs in the barrel mentality. One thing I used to say, and I still adhere to this saying, is that it's not what you know, in the entertainment world, but it's who you know.
Who you know.
Definitely.
But if you know who and you know what, you can go very far.
It's a good thing.
You see a lot of people who just know who, and they get in and they get breaks, and you wonder and you look and you go like, how does this motherfucker keep getting work? Because they know who. They don't really know what. But knowing who is a powerful thing. But if you can put both together, if you can network and learn the right people that can help advance your career, and you have the knowledge of what it takes to put on a good show, then it becomes a very powerful thing. Like you're talking about Country Wayne, natural born entertainer. So he already had the what. Apparently, now he knows the who, and it's working for him.
Back in your career, did you have any local artists, R&B, trying to get your music to break? Now, we always hear all these stories and program directors, and what's the thing with not playing local music? I don't even want to say local music. I hate that word. Our music on the radio station that is here. Not for a couple days or a couple weeks, but why can't our artists be in rotation like a Lil Wayne?
Let me give you three names that the old school folks will remember. Ramsey, Three from the Soul, Native Black.
Right.
Okay, these were three R&B groups. This was back in the 90s, and our program director at the time was Miss Portia Benz. This is back during a time where program directors still had control and were still able to do stuff like that. And all three of those groups, and if I'm not mistaken, I was talking with Jerry Sanders, the leader, the band leader of Native Black. He actually changed the name of the group to this band, but they're bringing Native Black back. They've gotten the group back together. But all three of these groups were getting airplay on the Wiz back in the early 90s. Things change when corporations took over radio. When you've got somebody in a suit sitting in another city that's telling you what you need to play here in your city. Let me and you asked me earlier about why did I retire? Why did I get out of radio? Let me tell you another huge nail in that coffin of radio that I had to assemble. I was in a meeting, actually walking past a meeting at the radio station here in Cincinnati one day, and the current program director, and I'm not going to call any names, but he was sitting there with a record promoter from out of town, along with the regional director for the radio station, and they called me into the office, and they were like, "Man, this song right here is blowing up. Freddie Red, come on, man, we want you to listen to this song. Tell us what you think of this." So they played the song. And the first thing I thought, I'm listening to it, I thought it sounded like 50 Cent to me. It was a rap song. And of course, me being old school like I am, I'm like, yeah, okay, another rap song. It's got a nice beat. It sounds okay, but I think it's shit. And they looked at me like I was crazy. The song that they were playing for me was this Panda song. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Blew up big.
But they played that, but they blew up big because they played that damn song in every market, every damn hour of every day for like 2 months, didn't they?
Longer than that.
Longer than that.
And that's when I really got to realize that, man, because they asked me my opinion and got mad at me because I gave them my honest opinion that I thought it was a piece of shit and there's better music that could be being played.
Right.
And that's when I really realized that it's just a machine. Yeah, it's not about anymore like it used to be back in the day. Like, and to go back further to me, like I say, and I can only give you those three examples of the early 90s at the Wiz, but you go back to Lincoln Ware's days. And speaking of giving flowers, before I talk about Lincoln Ware, let me give some flowers to John Thomas, the last owner of WCIN. Kudos to that man for keeping alive. That was probably truly the last great radio station in the world, was WCIN with John Thomas and, of course, me as a program director. But he was holding on to it, and we were doing things. We had blues on we were doing some local artists. It was real radio. But Lincoln Ware's day, back in his day was the day when artists could just come into the station and the DJs or the program director could make a decision like, hey, this is popping, I'm gonna play it. You can't do that anymore. That's not happening anymore. And I saw a documentary. I wish I could remember the name of it, but it basically said that the music that we get now on the Wiz, the top 40 rap music, is all being vetted through strip clubs now.
Mm-hmm.
If it ain't popping in the strip club, then it doesn't make it to radio. Which explains why everything you hear now is just, inundated with sexual energy and just nasty. And yeah, we had nasty songs when we were young, but man, they had a little bit more class about it. Now the music that you're hearing is coming. It's just strictly to make money. It's coming through these strip clubs. All these producers. That's where they take their music now to see if it makes the strippers bounce, and if it makes the players throw dollars. That's going to be a hit.
Got you.
I was going to say that I had some Atlanta experience, and that was some of my first streaming radio experience. But within that experience, I learned very much so that if you put money behind your music, you can make a hit. And it's simply because they're going to play it on so many genres and networks, and the college kids will pick up on it. Like you said, the strip clubs is a really huge genre right now, because if it's going to make you throw your money, then it'll make you spend your money. And so that's one really big concept with today's music. And so I can definitely attest and relate to that being a real thing. If you put money behind your music, and some people are wondering how some of these artists get so big so quick, and they're like, what? That song was trash. Well, if you pay $10,000 to get it played over every coast of stations, you're going to make money. And so anything that makes money, it's going to be put on a platform of something good, because it's all about the money.
You reap
right
what
now.
you sow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. During your illustrious career, you've been through some things, and we're just going to jump in the subject of politics and what's going on today. And have you ever seen anything like this?
Woo. It's never been seen before, Chris.
And I've been to quite
times.
a few different countries. I've been to quite a few different countries overseas, and I never thought I would see what happened and what's happening here in the United States. And I think the biggest travesty of it all is how a majority of white America is just trying to brush away the whole racist attitude, the white supremacist attitude that is still prevalent in this country, is still prevalent in places of power within the television, radio industry. It's still everywhere. And in our government, and in the highest level, the presidency. We need to stop with the bullshit. White people in particular, and quite frankly, that's 67% of my DNA. So I'm talking directly. I'm telling y'all, y'all motherfuckers need to stop that shit.
As a black man, though, let's be honest.
Directly to my 63%. I did the whole DNA ancestry thing. I'm 63% European, 37% African, and 23 of that 37 is Nigerian.
Okay.
All right.
But I want to ask a serious question, though. Are you surprised? Honestly?
No, I'm not surprised. And the whole thing, like I said, everybody in the damn country knew that shit was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to WLW every day because somebody got to keep their ear on them people
What?
over there.
What? How can you fathom that?
Why? Let me tell you why I listen to them every day.
Oh my gosh.
Because I want to know what they are saying, and it's scary. And I do give them credit for a lot of the DJs over there. They've kind of shifted their mood, but they were helping fuel that shit before too.
Oh my goodness. They've been part of the good old boy process forever. I remember working at Dancom and sitting in this cage, in the radio frequency cage. There's a white guy behind me. I'm right here, and we in the cage no bigger than this room. And we fixing the pagers, and that's what we do. I'm an electronic guy. We fixing all this crap, right? And this guy would always play WLW from the morning to the end. Gary Burbank, man, I had the routine down. Like, I had to remember the Walkmans. The Walkman, I had to put my Walkman with my tapes because I can't deal with this crap. And then every job that you go to, they're playing this the WLW that is fueling the fire of these people. It was so crazy at the job. The lady says, we sitting there talking about the Trump stuff that's going on in the news and the difference between Black Lives Matter and them storming the Capitol. This lady could not get it through her racist head that they was in the wrong and you're racist.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
your phone is ringing.
You gotta call her. Pick up the phone. What's happening, caller? Who this?
Hey, this is Taya.
Hey,
This is
Shatea.
Taya.
How you
Hi,
doing?
Shatea.
Comment on what Freddie. Hey, I want to comment on what Freddie said. First of all, we do know with I'm the same with him. I watch all the newscasts. I watch Fox. I watch CBS. I watch NBS. I watch all the different shows for a reason because I need everybody's perspective.
Yeah.
And I've been watching how Fox have been backpedaling.
Yep.
They were like such Trump supporters.
Yep.
And to sit there
So
and watch how they
pro-Trump.
backpedaling everything, they like going against their people. They're doing everything to go against everything that's been going on. And I'm like, yes. Yes,
Finally, someone's telling the truth.
You have to watch all social media. And I think that's what we have to do. Don't just watch one. Just watch everything so you can be open-minded.
Your brain is
That's
going
where we get caught
be
up
mush.
as Americans.
Oh, look, taking all that
Right.
negative garbage, you're going to be mush. What we
It's
need
not
to
all
do,
negative. It's not all negative.
man, girl.
It's
Don't even
informative. Listen.
It is not informative.
It is. It is. It's informative on many levels because you get to see where people's thought processes are. You get to see.
Let me tell you.
You get to.
If
Yeah.
But it don't take a
different
rocket
perspective.
scientist to know that.
No, it doesn't. But if you haven't
No,
been
it does.
exposed
It
to the
does.
different thought
She said it
processes
does.
of people,
Absolutely.
then you're stuck thinking that your thought process is the one that majority has. And it's not true. It's so
Exactly.
many people that have the exact opposite of your thought process and for different reasons. And that's what I enjoy. I appreciate the comment about watching the different newscasts because that's what I
Absolutely.
enjoy about it.
Yeah.
How can you enjoy any
grew
of that
up-
rubbish?
Let me tell you this.
That's diaper
it
juice.
It
ain't a matter of
I grew up one
enjoying it.
way.
We listen
Y'all gotta
just
understand.
to get the knowledge.
Yeah.
Grizz, you know, I grew up one way. I grew up in a white community, in a Jewish community, in a Catholic community. I grew up one total way.
So you already
But
know. So why do you
as
keep
I-
listening to rubbish? You was raised with
I
rubbish.
can't with you.
And now you still listen
You
to
come to
rubbish.
see a better
I grew up
way.
a certain way.
And
I
she's
grew up
still
one
cussing
way,
the
and
rubbish.
then as I grew, and I seen difference in opinions. When you have people who have never been exposed to black people, you have
Yep.
people who have never been.
Yep.
I grew up in a way where I was the black person.
Yep.
So I didn't recognize that I was the black person.
What?
And then as I grew,
Can't you tell?
I got into a certain community
Hello.
and understood, oh, wow, I am black too.
Yep.
And you have to learn different
Listen.
Don't
No.
laugh, BJ.
Listen, because realistically, Shatea, I understand because it's a different response from the white community when you're a fair-complected black woman. Your reaction to other people is not the reality of the mass majority of black people. And that's what people don't get. People are like, why do you think? Why do you feel? Because you're not viewed as a black person in the white community as a fair complected black woman. I just want to speak my
Is
piece.
that the same for you?
Listen, no, listen. Until
it is
you
for me.
are
I
made,
know.
until they make you aware that you're the black person, you don't know.
How the hell do you not know that you are the black? Hey, I don't know what they've been feeding y'all this rubbish. If you're looking
No, you don't know. Shatea, please tell him you don't know. You don't know. No, listen. You know that you're the black person. You don't know that their perception of you as a black person is different.
I would have to make that perception a little bit more clear. Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
You're a black man, so your experience is always going to be different. You'll never be viewed as innocent. You're a black man.
Let me say this: when you come in from a certain, I was raised in a certain culture,
an environment,
class of black people,
society.
And everybody in my community was white.
Yep.
And
so you was a good nigga family. You was one of the good niggas.
I was also a
That's what they call people like y'all was good niggas. Y'all the good niggas. We can live with y'all. Y'all the good niggas.
No, they did not. I was never referred to as a nigga.
Not in your face.
I was never referred to as that.
Not in your face.
Excuse me?
Not in your face.
Right. So that goes to.
I kid you not.
Pooh, they did not think you was white.
Ever.
No, but they do not treat you as a black person.
They never told me I wasn't.
That's why I understand why people
say that.
Listen, when you said rioters and I said, do you mean terrorists? That's why I understand why they have a misperception of the role they played. That's why I understand.
I was just high. That's why I just got the words wrong.
No. I just wanted to go in and say, like, the reason why you're saying that so many people, the woman at your job is clueless that she's racist. You don't want to know why? Because a lot of conversations aren't had in that environment. Because they don't have a need to have those conversations. They look at you as one of their counterparts when you're not a threatening person. Listen, as a black, fair-complected female, you're never viewed as a threat. Unless you come with a dark-skinned black male or your parents are dark-skinned people. So until you are viewed in that light from your white counterparts, you're completely innocent. And so conversations that are had not around you, that are discussed behind closed doors, are had in front of us. So
Excuse you and your fair friend and friend, all of y'all, excuse you.
So that's why we try to enlighten you. Like, it's a lot of things you won't comprehend on a certain level because you haven't had the experience of it.
Hold on. Pause.
Comprehend.
Absolutely. I'm sure he's experienced some
comprehend.
Of this stuff, but in a different way because he's a male.
Yes. And that's what I said. As a black man, you won't be able to relate because no matter what, you're a male figure. So you're never going to be considered an innocent figure in the eyes of a racist white person, right? You're a black man. But when your white friends,
a regular white person is going to accept you.
Yeah, but let me just say that when you're I won't say friends, but when racist white people introduce you to their other white friends, they're going to say, yeah, it's my black friend, Grizz, right? And the difference is when you're a light-complected black woman, they won't. They'll just say, oh, it's my friend from work, Ivory.
That's some shit.
I'm telling you, it's totally different.
That's some bullshit.
It is.
I don't want to be friends with none of you.
Bullshit, but it's the reality of the Caucasian race in their society. And so that's why I try to tell you, they won't be able to view some of your views. They don't see themselves as terrorists for storming the Capitol. No.
Okay,
they see themselves as liberals.
Wow.
Let me say this, just to say this. I actually, because of where I actually moved in junior high. I moved to the country, where I lived in what was called the rural area, but we had property. Yeah. So we were considered the rich people. Mm-hmm. If you had a lot of property, you had over 4 or 5 acres, you were considered wealthy.
Well, that's why you didn't have no color, because they thought you was rich. That's why ain't no damn color come in.
I'm from Finlater.
Oh, there you go.
So when the people who lived uptown, they lived in houses or something like that, the blacks were segregated from the whites. Okay?
What about the poor white folks?
I'm looking at.
What about the poor white folks?
I said they lived uptown in a segregated area up from the blacks.
AKA
so the blacks who were poor lived in one area. The people who that were white were poor lived right across the street, probably. Mm-hmm. Okay, but the richer white people who did live what was called uptown lived out further, which would be like a suburb of Cincinnati. Okay,
AKA our modern Mount
Healthy.
I'm watching something like that.
Mason. Mount Healthy's hood.
All right,
ain't
translator.
nothing rich
Back then.
about. Ain't nothing rich about Mount Healthy.
Back then it was.
Mount
She
Healthy,
talking
Forest
about her
Dark,
day.
all of that's gone.
Oh my God.
Them 4 days is gone. They moved out to Mason,
No.
Liberty Township.
Today,
Hell, Forest Park used to be
I
rich.
was
didn't
still
it?
Yeah.
even looked at as a richer black person, but not black.
Right.
So it's funny. You
A
could
richer
be
black person, but
you
not
have a
black.
clout. You could be considered
Confused.
to have a clout where they don't look at your color.
Right.
I promise you.
That's the part.
They
I
don't
should
It's
take
the
it.
money.
People
It's
don't
the
know.
money. It don't have nothing to do with your color.
It
has something
does.
to do with your money.
Listen, no.
That's what it did.
It has something to do with your complexion because I will
They
say
will
that you know
excuse it.
people that
Oh
are
my God,
dark skinned
excuse you.
in the same exact position as you and they're treated differently than you with your fair skin.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in work environments. I have been the person that the other black person comes to and says, this is just so unfair.
Really?
So-
So what did you do? Nothing you could do.
I'm going to say, listen, there's so much you can do, right? And you can encourage a person, you can petition for that person, you can even put in a good word for that person, but people will see you how they want to see you no matter how good of a person you are.
Exactly.
Still a nigga.
So, yeah, you still a nigga.
And they still niggas too. They just have money. They just still the upside. Let them people fool you and confuse you. You still a nigga. I don't care how much money you had. I don't care how much money you
Yeah,
had. They
but
might have
guess
put
what?
you on a pedestal.
But no.
Or gave you a little
Listen,
platform above everybody else and made you think that.
the only
But let it
no,
come down between you and them.
Yeah. And that's when you find out what the truth is. So most of us
Should have knew that.
No, you don't know. Listen, you don't know what you don't know. So when you've grown up your entire life and people don't treat you like they treat your very own sibling, right? Let's make this clear. I have dark complected siblings. And when people treat you different than they treat your very sibling, you don't recognize that in your childhood. What in your childhood mind says these people are racist? You don't see it. So you just grow up with this privileged mind that certain things don't happen to you because they just don't. You don't contribute it to your skin complexion. But when you become more aware of the way society views you, you can definitely contribute it to your skin complexion.
That's too much for me.
It is. It's a lot. Try being there.
I'm glad I'm a black man. I don't know how you gonna treat me. Ain't gonna be no surprises. Ain't gonna be no bullshit.
Wait a minute.
Because you don't like me. You never did like me. So I know that from the get-go.
I want to say this, Shatea. Try being the only. Isn't it different when you're the only fair complected black person and everybody else is brown and they treat you like the outcast, like you're not black? I'm telling you, that sort of racism comes more from your own people than it does from the other side.
It can't be racism. They just hating on you. It's not racism. It's not racism. They don't hate that you black. They don't hate that you black. They hate
that you light-skinned black.
No, they hate.
Yes, they do.
No, they hating the perks that you get with your little light-skinned self. They're not hating on you. They hating on the perks. Y'all need to cut that out because they're not. That's what
It's nothing I did to promote the perk.
I don't care.
So why you mad at me?
Because you getting the perk and I ain't.
You see, Fred Red laughing because he get the perks too.
Oh yeah, he ain't saying too much. No, he was getting the perks.
I was taking it all in, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this from white people. You're not like the other one.
Thank you, Freddie.
And I'm like, what
Thank
the
you.
fuck
I've
do you
heard that
mean
too.
by that?
Yeah,
And
because you're a fair complected black
I ain't
man.
fair complected.
You are fair complected.
I'm not fair
Oh my
complected.
God! I guarantee if you put a pair of shorts on right now, we're all gonna know you need a tan. Everybody's gonna know you need a tan.
No, they're gonna need. They're gonna know that I need lotion. They're gonna know I need lotion.
No, seriously though.
like this, Grizz. You might not be in the house, but you're definitely on the porch.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
You ain't out in the cotton picking field.
I want in the
that's for
field, damn
sure.
it. Shit. What y'all talking about? I can't even. And to be sitting here truthful and honest with y'all, like I said, we got land in Texas, right?
Yeah.
And my great
Texas.
and my aunt,
Oh,
my great
Lord,
aunts
Texas.
Are fair-skinned light women.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ask them how differently they get
they
treated.
got treated. I'm about to tell you. I would pull up a picture. One of my great aunts was assistant to Eleanor Roosevelt, and she's got a lot of perks, a lot of that. My great grandfather.
So we getting perks now. So
Yeah.
now saying we saying that we get perks. Why can't we just be who we are?
You are who you are, but you're no fear to them, so you get treated better with perks. So the black folks that's darker than y'all is not mad at y'all. They're just mad at the perks.
And I'm going to tell you this. For the first time in my life, I was
just
called a
don't look at it
nigger
as perks. I
under
just
the
gotta
Trump
love.
administration. In all my years, I'm 37 years old. Listen, I don't say this publicly to a lot of people. 37 years old. And
Put that mic closer.
you wouldn't tell it. Listen, 37 years old, and this is the thing. In all my years of life, in every neighborhood that I've lived in every corporate environment that I've been in every unfair, mistreated situation that I've ever encountered, I was called a nigger for the first time under the Trump administration.
Oh, my gosh. So you mean to tell me you ain't never been called the N-word before?
Ever in my entire life.
I've never.
Not in
I
a
can
way
say
where it
I've
was
never.
recognizable to me.
Never.
I'm going to say it's never been said to my face. It's never been said in the room where I was. It's never been said to where it was made to my acknowledgement that I was being referred to as
I
such.
agree.
Ever
Never
in
for
my
me.
entire life. And I was 8.5 months pregnant, and I was trying to cross the street, and a person literally sped up. That was way back at the light that was getting ready to turn red. It was already yellow.
You was
It
25
intense wide.
points. That's why. You was pregnant too? You was 25 points, maybe 50. You might have been 50 points. Hit your ass.
Listen, and this woman, and she was in a car full of women. There were only women that I recognized in this vehicle, unless
White
the man
women?
had white women, a car full of white women, and they looked like, for lack of a better words, I'm going to say they were, but they were of a lesser economic value of the Karens.
They were hillbillies.
Hillbillies. Looked like they came straight from the trailer
That
park.
was it.
And they were like,
Okay.
get out of the street, nigger!
Oh, yeah.
And I was so entertained. I mean, I was
So,
entertained.
men-
Should have been because you was probably one of their kids. Because you know they
So-
sleep with niggas.
Oh, Lord.
I was entertained by it. But it made me think. I said to myself, that's when I realized, I said, this Donald Trump has got America way out of control.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you've never been called a nigga before.
Ever. In my entire life. In my entire life.
PJ, Grizz, I have never in my life, and I can't even have that story that she just told, I've never been called a nigga.
What? You been called a nigga. You say me called a nigga.
No.
Don't get it twisted.
Either.
I have never.
Never.
I call you a nigga every day.
I've
Shatay
never.
Moet.
When that happened, I said, oh, these Caucasian
I've
people
never
getting
been
way out of
called.
control. This Trump administration, it doesn't make you racist. It makes the racist people be comfortable with their racism. It made them say, okay, guess what? One of our own is up there, guys, and he said to cage these niggers. He said to ban these niggers. He said that these niggers are not allowed in our communities because they're rapists and they're murderers and they're thieves. And that made everybody.
No, that's Mexican.
Well, they're black,
That's
right?
Mexican.
They're viewed as black people because of their complexion. And so I said that to say that
But
that
they
was
don't
the
like us either.
propaganda. There wasn't just Mexicans that he did. He tried to put a Muslim ban. Anybody that was of the Muslim culture, he tried to ban them from international travel. And that goes back, and Freddie was mentioning a documentary that he watched, and I had watched the documentary Driving While Black. And it wasn't just the fact of driving while black, it was a part of being able to commute while black, to go where you want to go, because back in those old days, what does it take for a black man to get from one point to another? You had to have that piece of paper that your master signed, right? That said you have the right to travel. And without that right to travel, you didn't have access to information being in all forms of information, whether it's dietary information, medical information, economic information, wealth information. If you can't leave out of your community and they're not bringing this information into your community, then how do you have access to it? You don't. So the whole thing with the whole Donald Trump with the ban of travel and for only certain cultures and for only people that look a certain way, that meant so much more to me than just an international travel ban. That went so much further because I saw the root of it. And when you start to begin to deteriorize someone's right to things, which is why I laugh at the fact that they took away his right to have freedom of speech on certain platforms. It was completely hilarious to me because this is the same thing that you did to culture people with being able to move around and create better situations on whatever levels those were.
And there's a limit to freedom of
And I want
speech
y'all to
that,
know this.
like you can't holler fire in a crowded theater.
Right.
And that's basically what Trump was doing. He was hollering fire in a
Consistently.
crowded theater to
Consistently.
these racists that,
Yep.
hey, it's time for us to
Consistently.
fight.
Yeah.
That's literally what he told them to do.
Yeah,
But I
because
think
we're
the bigger
threatened.
travesty-
Our
Understand.
supremacy, our whiteness is
Was
being
the Capitol
threatened.
not prepared?
It wasn't prepared because it's all staged.
Because he didn't want it to be prepared. The person that's in charge of everything said, we don't need your assistance, because that's exactly what he wanted. Listen, had this been the 1800s, I just want to make this clear. Had this not been the 20th century, had this been another point in time, what they did would have completely revolutionized what we consider modern America. Completely.
Hold that
Okay.
thought. Because this is where I'm going with this.
Let me say this, PJ.
What?
Grizz. I'm sorry, Grizz. I want y'all to understand, since y'all brought up censorship, the thing with censorship is what the Republicans is about to use right now going into the 2021 as a platform for what's going on with America. They are
Exactly.
so outraged, and I want y'all to understand this. They're outraged that we have censored Trump on all the platforms. They're going to use the word censorship, which is an American right, to go into the 2021.
Yeah, because
As why
they're
we're
gearing
great.
towards a communist state of mind.
So, with that being said,
They're so upset. Let me say this, I'm going to make it short, I promise. My white friends from Georgetown have posted all over. I have one who's a representative in Cincinnati, and he's saying right now censorship should not be happening to Trump. Then I have other ones who's a lawyer in Cincinnati who's saying how this is a big deal of this censorship policy. You guys, we all because the Republicans are getting ready to take this censorship thing to another level.
Absolutely.
And they're not the only ones, because CNN is doing it, Fox is doing it, everybody. They're going to use this one simple thing to make this a big deal.
Because
So-
this is the thing. When you take away the amendment, freedom of speech amendment, which is what a lot of people are saying that this is. Grizz, what's your take?
this is why we shouldn't give a cahoot about none of it, because it's going to happen regardless. What we seeing playing out, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know the difference. Why are we talking about the difference? We know why. We know what's behind it. We know this. My thing is, since we know all this stuff, we know stuff is coming. What can we do as a people to elevate ourselves to get past? Let these animals, fools who are fueled by the same it's a big conglomerate plan. Every one of us has a piece of the part to play in what's going on, the censorship, everything. Because you got these white folks, they're fighting for their liberties, their justice, or whatever. What are you talking about? So at my job, and every white person I know, they done bought up all the ammo and the guns and whatever for this part right here. And I told them the day at work, I said, we're going to sit back and let y'all go do what you're going to do. Because little do you know, the liberties that you're talking about, the censorship you're talking about, the quality of life that you're talking about, fool, it affects us all the same way. They just use us as the springboard and you guys as the guinea pigs, the dummy, to believe all this stuff. So yeah, you take your ass on up there and you raid and do what the heck what y'all gonna do, and do that, because they are fighting. I'm with Green. They are fighting for liberties. They want to come and take your guns. They want to do abolish the Constitution, parts of the Constitution, all this crap. You know,
But I want to say historically,
let it do it.
Historically, what has changed in the current time than what we've seen in historical times is the black vote matters. The black vote matters. Listen.
Just recently.
The black vote matters to what? To people who still have an agenda. Just because
But
their
it's
agenda...
only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time, Grizz, because there was a time where Georgia would have never voted democratically.
That's
there
cool.
was a time where we
But
have
the
never seen
That's
black
cool.
mayors, black governors. There was a time when
that's
we've
cool,
never
but
seen
these
this.
black mayors and these black governors that you're talking about, they still have to answer to
They
that
do.
white person up there.
Listen,
So if
that's
this
why
black
the importance is to continue to vote.
No.
Continue to vote.
Because we're
you
gonna
don't
vote
only vote every 4 years. You don't only vote when it pertains to you. You vote in the primaries. You vote in the local elections. You vote every time there's a chance to vote.
When has either one of these parties have done anything for us or people in general? Nothing. It's all about
slavery was abolished in America. Segregation was done away
Slavery
with
was
in
not
America.
abolished. We're still getting held back. We're still getting on this.
Legally. What I'm telling you is legally. So what I'm telling you is that if you continue to go and speak your mind and voice your opinion, changes have to be made because your voice is being heard. No, it's not going to happen overnight. Absolutely no. We definitely have 8 to 12 more years of what we call this mainstream racism prevalence in our government.
Third world country. We will have to be a third world country. I guarantee you. Y'all keep thinking it's changing. This Biden ain't nothing but another version of Trump, just a smooth
They all are different versions of themselves.
And what he got planned,
we have to use
everybody
them for what
everybody
they're
gonna
worth.
get us.
We have to hold them accountable for what they
How you
said
gonna hold
they
them
will
accountable?
do. Because when he doesn't do it, you vote him out. You do the same thing they just
Then
did
they
to
bring in
impeach.
another
You
one.
write your congressman, and then you vote him out. And then
it's the same cycle.
So if you think that
TJ,
overnight that things are going to change, if you
regardless.
think that because
policy ain't got us nothing.
It has. It's gotten us to right now.
Small accolades.
That's
like me in the record label business, or me doing what I'm doing. I got accolades.
Yeah.
This is the beginning.
Yeah.
This
You got to
is the
start
beginning
somewhere.
of
There's not going to
us
be a big wave that
understanding.
happens.
And like
The
one of
thing
you
is,
ladies
if
was
Biden
saying,
don't
I mean,
do what
all
we-
the elections are important, especially judges. This is one area that we don't
Yes.
think about.
Thank you,
These are
Freddie.
the elections that are hugely important when you're putting in people in those black robes that sit up there and make decisions on who goes to jail.
And for how long.
That's much more important than a lot of other elections.
Okay, right.
Absolutely.
So when you started off the interview today, we was talking about Kelly Prather and what she got going on. Now, I originally said I was going to run for mayor. I went and got the papers and all this stuff. Do you know since then there's been 10 more people, I think 12 more people trying to run for mayor. There's
Mark Mallory's back.
yeah. So
Charlie Winburn.
Yeah.
So exactly the same schmucks, the same regurgitated schmucks is back here when they do the same damn thing
Because
they've
we
been
don't
doing.
have better options. Are
So-
you a better option than those other candidates?
Can I finish?
You can.
Yeah, I'm a whole goddamn better
So
option.
you should have stayed in the fucking race.
So my thing is, they would have tried to silence me, but my thing is this.
Amen.
My thing is this. We just had a very important voting thing here for sheriff, prosecutor, and judges. And everybody was so geeked. Oh, we got all the Democratic people on board. And only we didn't get was Fanon. I can't say his name right, whatever. Mr. Rucker. We're going to call him Mr. Rucker because I'll be tripping. But Mr. Rucker, you know what I'm talking about? They let Dieters back in. They had the Bengals dude on there campaigning for this, that, and the third. I was out passing out my cards for my podcast, and I'm telling people, like, we don't want this guy back in office. Dieter, we want that gone. Dieter's been using us as guinea pigs for years. It's time for that to quit. A lot of people didn't even know about the goddamn vote that, like, and I said to myself, like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So that's where I'm at. Like, now, what can we do?
Educate. You just said
Educate.
people don't
We
know.
have to
Inform them.
educate our people.
Dedicate once a
Hey, let
month
this
to
clown back up in here, man. This
listen.
stuff is
Dedicate the
retarded.
show once a month to political views. If your passion is to see difference, to see some change, to see that there's a better economic value of our black people, then you have to contribute to that. You can't sit over here and say what everybody's not doing and you're not doing it. Do it.
We just now learning.
Fucking do
There's
it.
A lot of us are just learning today.
Keep that ventilator
There's
to
some of
yourself.
us are just learning because of what's going on TV. So you
Right.
gotta understand,
And
a lot of
in the
people
midst of
Georgia,
COVID,
if it wasn't for Stacey Abrams,
you've been made to
we
sit
wouldn't be
down
where
and
we
watch
at
TV.
today.
You've been made to be more aware of your political views, and simply because of some of the people that have been murdered during this COVID-19 time, that kind of open up your mind, that kind of open the gate to these conversations. These conversations weren't happening. You would not have seen Freddie Gray incident, you wouldn't have seen some of these incidents channeled the news, be headlines in the news for weeks and weeks and weeks like they were. We had other things to do with our life.
It was in the news for ratings.
But what did it do? The ratings made our society aware. It made us aware that people are also watching. And when you saw this uprising happen, you saw a whole different genre of people collecting with you to say this is unfair treatment and justice, because before everybody was too busy. We're going to school. We're trying to get our degrees. We're helping our parents. We're working our jobs. We're paying our mortgages and rents and whatever it is. We're busy. But then when all these things happen and everybody was forced to sit down and visibly see this on national television, what I saw was an outrage of people that were, I'm going to say, between the ages of, in the white society. I saw them all the way from 15 until their mid-30s, early 40s be outraged by this, because in their reality, they've never seen something like this. What? You mean to tell me that there's been all these dozens of black people murdered at the hands of police? What? You mean to tell me that we've been videotaping and we have these things on camera and no one has been held accountable? What?
That was crazy.
Are you kidding me? And so that was, for me, that was what was the eye-opener for the remaining of their society that was refusing to turn the blind eye. They were like, fuck no, we're not going to acknowledge it. And when their kids brought it home and their kids said, Mom, Dad, you got to see this. Did you know? And then they had to open their eyes and acknowledge, yeah, we know.
Okay. Well,
so that, to me, is the biggest difference in the current political views of our society than before.
do y'all think this impeachment is going to make a difference?
Absolutely. It keeps this bozo out of office for a second run. If it does nothing else, it strips him of his ability to run for president again, which would have done nothing more than create a whole new uproar and uprising in the presidency, because he said that they cheated to get him out initially. So we would have been cheating to keep him out again for the second round. And if they were willing to storm the Capitol and be
well, they ain't gonna
terrorists,
they ain't gonna storm the inauguration. All them daggone National Guard there. They got people sleeping
they
in.
probably already had. Who knows what they planted already in the damn on Capitol Hill. When they stormed it the first time, they may not even need no outside forces. It might already be in there.
And, the ultimate hypocrisy to me of this whole situation from the Capitol the other day, the majority of these Trump supporters who were there storming the Capitol, I guarantee you, these are the same people who on social media were saying things like, Colin Kaepernick is not American.
Yep.
And his protest is so disrespectful of the
Yep.
flag. Yet the other day we saw these these terrorists, actually using flag poles with the American flags on them to beat police officers.
Yep.
So the ultimate hypocrisy of how they condemned Colin for his respectful protest by kneeling respectfully during the anthem. But here, their protest turned into
You don't even hear Colin no more.
terrorist debacle.
I
And,
hear
that to me, that's the ultimate hypocrisy it is.
I definitely get it. And I agree. For so many of our people to be blackballed in their businesses and in their professional careers for trying to stand up for us and protest our rights and be blackballed. And then white America does it. Another incident I was kind of entertained by was there was a white guy going off in the airport that he'd been put off the plane labeled as a terrorist. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't fucking believe it. Mm-hmm. He was so outraged, like he was almost to toddler fit stage. And it's like, wow, you get a small dose of what it's like to be black in America every single day.
And flip out. But it's all good. Well, people, it's about that time. But I want to say I enjoyed myself. This has been one of the liveliest interviews I've done. One of them.
Yes.
Put up there with a couple more. And I'm glad you was able to come on and have this conversation. It was more enlightening. I enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed my co-host being here instead of her being on the film there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
yes, it was a great show. It was a great show.
In my personal opinion, your boy may have lost his job tonight.
Oh, dig that.
We're not gonna say that. We appreciate the ring bad expressing his different political views. It keeps a lot of spark in the conversation.
Let somebody else see that too. But anyway, we want to thank Shatay. You know, she's sipping her drink. We love when she calls.
Yes.
Even though she drinking, she does bring up interesting and great conversation piece. So keep calling, keep doing what you're doing. Just don't get too tipsy, you know.
No, you know what? You know what I like about Shataya is the fact that she's very honest. Mm-hmm. No matter what. I like her. I can appreciate the honesty in her conversation, whether we agree or not. I like that she's honest with what she brings to the table, and it's really her personal opinion.
And how boring it would be if everybody agreed on everything. Come
Absolutely.
On.
Exactly. This is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the conversation would be dead.
This is true. Well, again, like I said, thank you very much, y'all. I appreciate you. I'm glad we was able to do this. You can put this in your archive.
Mr. Freddie.
So please share
Thank you
it.
very much.
Graciously appreciate you and all of your feedback.
So, and to answer your question about pursuing something and getting something together, these gentlemen right here, the number that you have, you might want to run your ideas with them and so forth, because that's who's putting me on. So any ideas that you might want to run across, you have that number to reach out to them, because they are looking for content and more things, and you are a character.
I appreciate it. I
what
will
I'm
definitely reach out to them.
You probably can. You probably could make some waves out here.
Yeah, Mr. Freddie, you still got that
Continue to
voice.
make some waves. Yeah.
He still got that
You might
voice.
have to use you for some voiceovers here. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey.
For pound for pound.
And I got the rock star hair now.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Right in.
Put you on a different background now.
You
Watch
know?
out.
That's what's up. So we want everybody to tune in next week. Go to the YouTube channel, GRIZZBIZMY2SENSE, all one word.
Yeah.
And hit that subscribe and like button, and share. And in the meantime, what we always say is don't be stuck on stupid and relax on dumb. See you next week.
See you next week.
Niggas do the most when they ain't got shit. I was chillin', laid back in the crib, thinking back had all make sense. Kudos to the folks that stay out the way. All gold on the spokes, see the gold from his lips. He was raised that way. Papa sister shit bumpin', I was born to race. Wrist whipping, nothing different, just a suit and a flip. Sin City, he was selling shit, it is what it is. Call bodies at the party, hey, fell in the grave. Rest up, eyes up when I skate. Kid push, like I'm moving with faith. Fuck a pig, know they ass got something to say. They can't pay, bro.